Five, four, three, two, one. We're live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Entab presents CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where the stalwarts of education come on board and discuss their viewpoints on burning topics related to education. Today, on this auspicious occasion of Women's Day, we have a very special guest with her. But before I go to her, let me quickly introduce you to Entab. We are a 20-year-old IT company engaged in providing matured and futuristic school ERP, CRM, and mobile apps to the top schools spread across India and help transform them from good schools to great ones. In today's session, we will discuss about how schools can help children deal with family issues. Because there's so much going on during the pandemic situation. We were all in lockdowns and everything. So there's a lot of built up feelings inside, emotions inside of children. And how can schools help overcome these situations? So, to have more insights on this, please welcome our exclusive speaker for today, Ms. Deepa Shriram ma'am, the principal of Akshara Vidyaashram, Cuddalore in Tamil Nadu. In her professional journey of 19 years, ma'am has been serving various prestigious schools like Delhi Learning Private Limited, Ideal School CBSE, Almighty Jesus School, sorry, my bad, please excuse me, New Angel Schools, etc. So, before we go to ma'am, if in case you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and click on the bell icon to stay updated. Over to you, ma'am. Welcome on Campus Care Ed Talks.
Thank you very much, Himanshu. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Entro Mahanubhavulu Antriki Vantanamu. I'm really happy to be here, and my sincere pranams to my mother, my mentor, and my mother India.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm really happy to be here on this Happy Women's Day.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful, ma'am. And we are happy to have you as well.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, let's go ahead with the webinar. And I'm sure, see, clashes in family are quite normal. And since we were all stuck together in one place for a long period of time, clashes would have bound to happen. So, how do you think these clashes and family issues can affect the growth of a child? And it will also, of course, naturally it reflects on their not only on their academic performance but on their mental health as well. Please shed some light on it, ma'am.
Sure, Himanshu. Could you tell me, is there any one family without any issues?
No.
No way. Even you and me, we all grown up only in the same kind of setup, isn't it? But the question is, how am I going to look at the issues? How am I going to give a kind of an insight to my child? That matters a lot. And and your question is like whether it will have an effect on children. Yes, for sure. And if it is an academic, if the children are in like board exams, and it will have a great impact. If it is in the very lower primary section, we need not much worried about academics, but more of moral values and the way they are brought up, isn't it?
Right.
So I think, see, when you walk on the sand and come back to a cement place, definitely there will be traces of soil. While you will be carrying without food, isn't it?
Right.
The same, if there is an issue in the family, it will be reflected in the minds of the children. There is no doubt in it. But also that we should understand one thing, how we are going to make them to see that conflict. If there is no issues, then the children won't learn how to face those problems, as well as how to handle that conflicts, how my parents are handling that. That gives them a great kind of a learning towards our children. So I wish each one of you to pray that our children should get problems.
Right.
And they should face the family issues.
Right.
It has to be handled, and for sure it will be there will be a great impact in their academic side as well as more with their behavioral issues or attitudinal side.
Right. So basically, all these issues and all these things leave an imprint on child when they're at a primary level, right? So they might affect the development of a child at a primary age, but once they grow up, like you said, in board examinations, during board exams, these clashes that happen, um, it might affect their academic performance. Ma'am, that's why I guess all the parents during board examinations, they walk as if they're walking on eggshells. They try to create the entire year very normal. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's sure. And that's the great problem nowadays. When you were appearing for your board exam, the same kind of a scenario, it was there with your family? No, I don't
Absolutely.
think. My mom was very cool
Yeah.
and my mom was very calm. But nowadays we think, see, mothers should play the role of mothers, need not be teachers. But the teachers should play the role of mothers. That's the
Right.
difference. We should learn that. See,
But
nowadays all the mothers they have taken the shape of the teachers. And see how we have to bring up the child is when they are at home, the parents should edify the school teachers at home. And when they come to the school, the teachers should edify the parents. I should tell them to listen to the parents, and the parents should tell them to listen to the teachers. If it is both the things are happening, then the children will be right. If you ask me that for the board exam, and one thing is very clear, it's not, you should make the child to understand one important thing, that the child is not the only one person who is attempting for the board exam. There are
yeah.
n number of millions and millions of students have approached that, isn't it? I'm not the first one. So I need not be scared about how to approach the board exams, and even the parents need not take up that kind of a thing. Let them give a kind of a comfort and a trust to the child. Whatever you do, I will be there with you, and whatever you get, you just go ahead. I want to share one small experience. My son, he is in 12th standard, 12th grade. I think 2 days before night by 10 o'clock, he called me, and he is preparing for IIT JE also. He asked me that, Mama, if I am not I'm not cracking IIT, I'm not eligible to get into IIT or NIT. I said, cool, get into Anna University or something like that, that's fine. He said, if I'm not eligible even for that, even nothing, I'm fit for nothing, then what will you do? Then I said, me and myself and Papa will sit together and we'll think about how to bring you as an entrepreneur. Then, then my elder son was cracking nearby sitting with him, and he was telling that Amma is thinking about getting some cows for you, and she was making it in a polished way as an entrepreneur. Then I said, fine, do it, go ahead. What's wrong in having cows and doing some kind of a business? That's really great. Then my son told, get those cows for me. And because one of my friends, they are doing that, milk business. He said, no, I'll become one of the best person competing your friend, and I'll be rocking that in that field. I said, well, do it. I'll ask my friend to procure the milk because he doesn't have the people to support to
Right.
get the milk.
Right.
And he said, every time you're supporting the friend. This is how the conversation, the parents should know how to converse with them. If I say
Yeah.
that if you don't do it, there is no life at all, then definitely the child will get demotivated. There we have to stand. For every problem, there is a solution. And the
Wow.
solution may be minimum five. Think about one, next, go to the next. Then you will get the solution. Why do you bother about it? The education is a part of the life. It's not only the life. That parent and teachers should understand.
Right.
So I think board exam
Brilliant
is very
approach.
simple. It's very simple, Imanshu.
Brilliant approach, ma'am. Brilliant approach. Wonderful. So, ma'am, a teacher can spot the difference when we talk about behavior of a child. Like you said, the teacher should become a mother, and I'm pretty sure a mother is easily able to spot the difference of behavior when the child is disturbed. And similarly it goes for teachers as well. But before I ask the question, by the way, ma'am, let me tell you that every person I know, and I'm pretty sure person I don't know, there has to be one teacher who will be a mother to the student, to that person. One teacher will always be as a mother to every student that is there. So
Absolutely.
that's absolutely true about what you said. Moving forward, ma'am, what would advice would you like to give the teachers who are watching us on YouTube? Uh, how to counsel the children and the parents at the same time.
Fine. If you talk about the teachers, that's a real struggle. If you see the morality among the teachers, that was really in a great height earlier, but now it's coming down. Why? Because the teachers, they themselves, they do not know how to handle the profession and the domestic. They themselves do not know how to handle their own children. Am I right?
Yeah.
But when they come to the school, they have to equip themselves in certain areas. The first and the foremost secret which I wish to share is if the teacher is a married woman and she is the mother of a child, She should see her own child in each and every child in the school. That will give her a great result. Why? Because the moment if the child is doing some kind of a mistake, then there is no necessity or it you won't allow you to react if you look at your own child in that child. So you will try to respond for moments, any kind of a moments which is not favorable to you. Once you start responding, and definitely it will help them a lot. The first thing is they should create an healthy environment for the child. Everywhere we are expecting the customized manner. The moment we get a car, we try to put some kind of a customized thing inside. When we do that, don't you think that the lives, we are dealing with the lives? It's not like in a corporate company sitting with a mission and handling with the systems. We are more dealing with the lives. So we need to have a kind of a customizing. But it's a small thing, Himanshi. It is a small bit of, a little bit of stitches need, tightening is need, relaxation is need. All these things, sharing with them is very, very important. And if you see that, how will you get inside the parents or the teachers towards the children is one thing we have to be very careful is the intake. The children, what they intake. Two aspects. One is food and the other one is thoughts. These two things we have to take care. The thoughts, the teachers, they have to work out a lot by sharing the story telling and everything. You try to imagine how you were exposed to the values only through the stories, only through the incidents, only through the experiences that shared by your aunties, uncles,
The
mama,
relatability,
all those
basically.
people. Am I right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
relatability, because that's how it becomes relatable.
How do you discriminate the good one and the wrong one? It's
Yeah.
only through the given. Now, what has happened? All the cinematic world, those who do the villain work, they have been created as a hero. And that's the problem. So, try to keep them away from the cinematic world and keep them in the realistic world. And to the teachers, I'll tell them connectivity is very, very important. That connectivity should happen with each and every child. The role of class teacher is so important, Himanshu. I will tell that. Only you will be confined to 40 children. You can thoroughly enjoy the time. Give them a happy schooling. That's very important. Who is CBSE is not much worried about what you do till 8th standard, isn't it? Why don't you create that kind of a happy schooling within them? That will give them, and parents, please understand them, give them a good food, a nutritious food. How far it is important about the intake, the same equally important is excreting the unwanted one. That the parents should be very much thinking about, they should think about it. Monitoring is the child is not at all a bad thing. Try to understand my point. And one more thing, what the parents are having is if they are technologically sound, they think they are superior than these people. No. Experiences count a lot. They should understand that just because of handling the electronic gadgets, it doesn't mean my child is superior there. Don't be strict, but be firm with it. Nowadays, parents are listening to the children. That has to be changed.
Right. That, ma'am, nowadays, many things that are happening, to be honest.
Come again, Manshu.
Ma'am, nowadays, so many,
Huh.
I'm seeing a very, a dynamic or maybe a paradigm shift in how the parenting is happening. Earlier, I mean, you have to, ma'am, okay, so what are your viewpoints on the same when I talk about that earlier, our parents, my parents were very strict. And nowadays, what's going on is they are giving in on every demand of a child. So, do you think that's the correct type of parenting, or is that a correct approach towards dealing with a child who's having certain issues, family issues? That, for example, if my child is disturbed, nowadays what I'm seeing is that parents are okay, so my child is alone, sitting alone, I will get him a gadget. Do you think that's the correct approach?
No, no, no. That's what every parent, we have misunderstood the thing. It's the time when you come, when it comes to the time, it's not the quantity of time, it's the quality of time. How you could do it? You could have a dinner together. You could go along with them to the temples. You could take them to the relatives. That's this beautiful thing. If they do not know how to be with the uncles and aunts, then how they will go with the social no, relationship? They won't. They do not knowing about it. And if you see that, what is the role of the school in giving this kind of a situation, handling these kind of situations? We can assign some activities that will make the parents to connect with the students. I'll tell you, I think last year one program was introduced by my state government, Tamil Nadu state government. It was about reconnect to disconnect. There was a beautiful thing. I think so many people have started doing it. That is, one day we gave the circular to the parents to disconnect all their electronic gadgets to reconnect with their children. You try to make it happen. You do it. You try to find out how much time you could do it. See, I am somewhere alone because of my profession. My children are nearly 500 kilometers away from me, but I'm connected. I don't have that kind of a feel. Why? Because I know whatever time I'm spending with my child, it's my quality time. Even if I sit and talk with them 1 minute or 2 minutes, I never ask them what is your marks. Well, how do you do the college? How do you be in the academic? I say all the time when I close my mobile, the last word which is I trust you, I believe you, I love you. And even the moment which my son starts, Mom, I love you. He learned that from one dear DGP Shailendra Babu sir. He said, all the children, please start telling that, that happened in the school. You should understand that. From that day onwards, he started telling, Mom, I love you.
Right.
That's a great thing which the people should know about it. Okay.
Right.
So don't give them the electronic gadgets. Don't go for the temporary solutions. That's very important.
Right. Ma'am, moving forward, we are living at this, during this age, like it's very important for both the parents to work, to, because we are used to certain standard of living, and there's a certain lifestyle, because now we are not living in joint families anymore. We are there in nuclear families. So, and this sort of situation has undoubtedly affected the line of communication between parents and kids. So, according to you, how can certain school activities or assignments having family involvement bridge this communication gap?
Even partially my answer, which was answered earlier question also is having the kind of
Yeah.
answer. The same I'll say that have a quality time with the children. And how the school can play the role is, and the CBSE has given one beautiful books for life skill education. And I think most of the schools are not utilizing it. If you utilize that, there are n number of activities to work on the life skills.
Hmm.
And there is one activity stating that asking the children to write how they spend their time on a daily basis. They have to write it, and there is another column to write whether it's a productive one or a not an unproductive one. The child, from his point of view, he has to write whether it's a productive one. And the same sheet should be given to the parents to see that whether the child has written this time spent is productive. Whether do you think it's a productive one or unproductive? Those sheets, when we put them before them, you just have a look. You ask the parents, you ask the teachers what kind of an answer they are giving. You say it's a productive, but mom is telling it's unproductive. You sit and discuss with the parents. Then he will come to know what I have to do. The thinking process we have to scrutinize. You have to slowly, you have to give the spark in its thought processes. That's very important, but it should not be forceful. That's very, very important. Then the child will react. We should always keep the child in a comfortable zone to learn things. And happy mode, always keep them in a happy mode. But at the same time, I'll always tell that be permanent. Be permanent.
Right.
Be calm and composed. That's the problem is I'm not responding, I'm reacting. Then how could I expect my child to be calm and composed?
Right.
There comes the problem. For that, the people should listen more, and the reading habit is a good habit actually. See, if you're not at home, you allow the children to have a set of habits that will take them in a right way. One is reading books, and the other one, if you see, listening to the motivational videos, and the third thing, skill set should be developed. For an example, if I'm not there, my son should sit and read. If he's taking out of the books, his hands should be in the keyboard. If he has got a kind of thing which art form is aligned with the art form, then there will be healthy distraction. There won't be unhealthy distraction. There we have to concentrate more. There we have to concentrate more. For an example, now it is very much important to learn international languages, Himanshu.
Right.
And if you see that the companies like Hyundai, Benz, BMW, all the HRs are good in English, but if you see that they are very good or the best in their mother tongue. Am I right?
Right.
So if a child is good in Korean language or German language, there is no problem for him to get into Hyundai. He will be connected more with the HR. You have to equip the child. You tell them what is needed for this future. And that's the reason the parents should be updated, the teachers should be updated, and we should teach them what is needed for his lifetime. Rather getting into the same syllabus or whatever it is, we have to go beyond the syllabus. That's the role of the teachers and the parents. The modern parents, I'll give you one thing. If you are not there, you should make the child to take part in any art form that will keep them in the healthy distraction and that will keep them to grow in an organic mode. That's very important.
Right. That's actually very wonderful insight that you provided, ma'am. That instead, not only focusing on the academic, we should also inculcate some sort of extracurricular, passion. Not, I won't say an activity, but I'll say passion. What a child feels compassionate about or passionate about, some sort of, whether it is a keyboard or a guitar, so that some sort of inkling he has towards certain instrument or maybe
Sure,
some skill set. That's
sure,
very
Imanshu.
important.
Definitely, they should.
Yeah. Wonderful, ma'am. Moving forward, we all share our childhoods with our siblings under
Yes.
one roof. But at times, I'll be very honest, but at times, it sometimes feels that the younger one is getting bullied by the other one, or maybe they feel discriminated or left out. In this scenario, because bullying also happens in school. So, in this scenario, what will you suggest? How should a parents tackle on this particular instance to create a healthy and growing environment at their homes?
If you ask me at homes, I think the problem is solved already. They all have gone for the family planning, and we all do have one. There is no much of that problem. But even then, they are not good with their no cousins or something like that. But if they are of the same age group, I think they are really good by going out to malls and everything. They are really having that. The bullying which happens inside the school, that has to be prevented. What is the strategy I'm using is I'll try to make some kind of a group activities between them, clubbing the 11th students with the 8th, the 9th with the 12th, and all these things, giving a
That's right.
concept. And I'll allow them to focus everything towards one thing, rather fighting between them. Then they will become friends. Then they will call, Anna, we danced very well. Anna, we did it very well.
Give them
Anna,
a
we are
common
going to,
goal.
huh?
Give them a common goal to give them a
Yeah, give
common
them a
direction.
power. Make them to see. If you keep them alone, then they will see us as no warriors, and they won't. They're like an enemies. If they put them in the same pool, then definitely they will be enjoying more. Give them a task. Give them something to enjoy. Then they will go together. Like-minded people. We
Right.
have to create that like-mindedness.
Like-minded
That's
people.
very important.
Like-minded people. Wonderful. So basically, the whole idea is to get them organized in a certain direction, right?
Yes. Even if at home, if you see that I have two kids, both the sons, even if they have the fight, the first thing which I have to tell it to my elder son, you have to know, be, calm to your brother. He's learning from you. All these things, keep on telling. For that, I'll try to tell them many stories like Rama, Lakshmana, and everything. But later on my lifetime, I came to know that usually when there are two brothers, we used to wish them or bless them as be like Rama and Lakshmana. But in recent times, from one lady, old lady, I learned that she blessed my sons as being like Rama and Bharata. I was wondering, what is this, the new thing she has blessed? When I asked her, why you blessed like Rama and Bharata instead of Rama and Lakshmana? Then she said, Lakshmana was being with him throughout his lifetime. But Bharatan was not with Rama, but his thought was always with Rama.
Oh, wow.
That's more important. That connectivity is very important. The distance will not be a barrier. You try to understand the same thing we have to adapt, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a parent, whether you are a sibling, whether you are a guru, what a mentor or whatever it is. Distance is not at all the matter. If you think about the other person, that is what you are earning the blessings from your people. Okay?
Wonderful, ma'am.
Fine,
Beautiful,
Imanshu.
beautiful thought process. Be like Rama and Bharata rather than Rama and Lakshmana. All right, moving very quickly, ma'am, as we come to the close of the webinar, uh, we know that a child should be aware of the issues that are going on in the family. In your opinion, how do you think parents should, because that's how we started, how should a parent explain a certain sort of situation to a kid, making them aware as to, let's say whether it's a financial instability that is going on in the house and the kid is demanding that, you know what, my friends have an iPhone, even I want one. So how to sensitize everything, and how to put it across the child.
The moment you talk about the financial instability, and my mind is thinking about my EMI.
Yeah, because as parents, we have to
Right,
give the EMIs,
right,
right?
right, right.
Yeah.
So one is, no, you cannot, no, if you are earning 1 lakh, you will be have the problem for 10 lakhs. If you are earning 1,000, you will be having the problem for 10,000.
Right.
The first thing is when the children grow, we have to sit and talk with them about the financial status. That's a very important aspect. And don't give them as they wish. Whatever they wish, we are not supposed to provide them. We have to tell them what to be done, what could be done. That's very, very important. One thing is, whenever you buy certain item for your house, first you have to make them also sit with you and
All right.
be a part, give them, allow them to do a kind of a decision making, how to take a decision with the available funds and is it okay or not, is it needed or not. All these things they should be. But actually, I was thinking about when you told that to talk about how schools can help the children those who are facing the issues, family issues. I was thinking about what could be those issues. That's two things. One is psychological issues, and the other one is financial issue.
Right.
Then I threw the questions with so many people like, if there is a financial issue, what will you do? How it could be done? I got a very beautiful answer or a different perception from one of my friends, and I would like to mention her name is Pavitra Ramani Shankar. Why? Because she said, if you say about the financial instability, why don't you show them with which is available in abundance in the world? Could you imagine? It's so contradictory. You are talking about the financial instability. That means no money. I may not have money, but I have got abundance of love. I have got abundance of family faith. Have got abundance of trust, which I can give it to my children. That this state is not permanent.
Mm.
This might change. This financial instability is not a permanent one. And there is n number of ways to work out to get into it. If the child is facing the financial instability, as a teacher, I should think about in what way I could help him. And for an example, one child, he was not in a position to pay the fee, but there are some parents who are very well off. I will talk to them and I will tell them if you could sponsor for the child, that would be fine. But there I'll keep one check. I am getting the sponsor for you, but you have to prove yourself that you are good in the academics.
Right.
That is how I will deal. And after this moment, I thought like, we have to remove the scarcity mindset from the children. All this instability is only a temporary one. Whereas the permanent things are there, the nature, the family, the love, the faith in God, n number of things are there which we have to trust on those things, and those things we have to keep there in the minds of the children. That's a simple way.
Wonderful idea, ma'am. So let's say constant is the change is the only constant in life. Every
Yes,
situation, everything
changes
will
are
change.
inevitable.
Yeah. And one very good takeaway: show abundance. What we have in abundance. That's a very good takeaway. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming on board with us. It was a pleasure having you here. It was wonderful to speak to you on Campus Care Ed Talks, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you, everybody who's listening to our webinar. Make sure
Thank
you.
you very much, Himanshu. I just want to thank you. Himanshu. I just want to thank you people. One is Entab for giving me the opportunity actually, and I have to thank my mentors, my spiritual mentors, Vijay Lakshmi mentors, relatives, friends, and all the students community, whomever I have come across and I have learned from students. Okay, and all from my teachers and everything. And thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So that is it for today. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.